To my kitchen, I have my baking apron on. I don't often bake. And this is a dish with such memories of growing up, and that is my bread and butter pudding, but with the twist to suit my palate in the main. So what have we? Firstly, getting bread that you can allow to go stale is really important. And I don't want to denigrate anyone, but the very soft bread that comes in plastic will stay fresh for a week or more. So what I had to do to give it some sense of staleness was to lay it out over the kitchen table last night until this afternoon. So that tells you you have to even work at getting stale bread, because fresh bread just won't work as well. I guess you could do it, but not as well. Okay, so what have we? I've already greased my container, and this is interesting. I haven't made it in this before, and it's about a 6-cup container. So I'm kind of guessing that I'm going to need 6 eggs. I'm going to add just 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. And I am always cooking to suit my palate. So you might like it sweeter, but I don't. And the other thing about it is I've used 2 what I would call scant tablespoons. And just be really careful with tablespoons. I know I've mentioned it, so it might sound boring, but this is an Australian tablespoon, so it says 20 mils. An American is 15, and it won't make a great deal of difference, I guess, to sugar, because you'll do it to taste, but it can make a huge bit of difference for other things. And also, when I say scant, is I put it into the sugar and level it off. That is scant for me. I'm not going to use vanilla. I'm going to use the zest of an orange. That's right. I was going to tell you why I'm using orange. It's because I'm using marmalade, my Seville Marmalade, which I love. But I'm using that on one end, and to please Colin, I'm going to use the raspberry on the other end. And those flavours go together anyhow. So I'm just playing with it. You don't have to, of course you don't have to use marmalade, but it's so fabulous when you do. And I'm going to finish it off with nutmeg, and they're all flavours that go together. I also, before I put the cream and the milk in to balance the eggs, I'm going to use these tabletop sultanas. They're from Mildura, an amazing family, but everything is done traditionally, and we must support our Australian producers. Now, I have 400 mils of milk and 300 of cream. You can move that around, but that's about the ratio that I like. Full cream milk, of course, proper cream. We have fabulous dairies here in South Australia, and I have access to the Jersey one in Greenock and Paris Creek down south. But always it's a case of buying full cream. Now, I've taken the crusts off 7 pieces of what was fluffy bread, but now, being stale, has a little more substance to it. I was very tempted to butter on both sides of the bread. But I thought, no, let's not be excessive. Yes, I'm going to put some of the raisins that I've reconstituted. I forgot to do it overnight, so I did it with some verjuice and water in the microwave on defrost for 1.5 minutes to plump them up. All right, the favourite is the marmalade. I'm not sure what jam Mum would have had. Probably a berry or a strawberry jam. Okay, let me just put, I've buttered it, put some raisins on the bottom, and then I'm going to just overlap them. I'm not being fancy about this. And of course, this was all about, well, when I was growing up a long, long time ago, this was all about wasting nothing, using stale bread. There's lots of other ways of using stale bread, which we'll come to too. But the important thing with this, I would only make it with this lighter bread, not so much a sourdough bread. Now find that I didn't need 7 pieces of bread. I would have been fine with 6 slices of bread for what is a 6-cup, which is what, 1.5 litre container. That's just too much. 5.5 pieces of bread. Right, now this is the thing. I'm going to put the rest of the sultanas on the top, and then I'm pouring the custard on because I want it to soak into the bread. So I'm going to leave it for 30 minutes to soak before I bake it. And I'm going to bake it in a water bath. And let me see, let's take all of this. How's that for a good guess? I'm quite pleased with myself. Okay, 30 minutes, just leave it like that. And then the secret, unless you have a steam oven, which I do and I love it, but for most of you that don't have a steam oven, we're going to cook it in a water bath. And when you cook in a water bath, I'll just show you now, is this sits in here, and the concept is put enough really hot water to go as high up the side of your container as possible. Now, it would be more perfect if I had a dish a little bit higher, so I didn't have to spill water all over the place when I checked it. Smells so good, but we have to wait for it to cool before we can taste. See how it's puffed, but it's still quite soft. It's puffed on the corners. That's an hour. The first 30 minutes at 200 degrees, covered with foil in the hot water bath, and the foil off 30 minutes into the cooking and the temperature down to 180, and exactly an hour. Oh, it just smells so good. It smells of my childhood. So I needed this to cool down and kind of set before I served it. Now it's still warm and it's been an hour out of the oven. So okay. Oh, the marmalade, the silkiness, the bread really soaked, and those fantastic sultanas. All in all, it's my kind of bread and butter pudding.